time for VC Fluency 4. If you recall, last time we covered firm archetypes, know before you go, and how to vibe with VCs. This is a continuation of that in terms of how to think about the story you want to tell VCs, the early stage narrative. So 3 things to cover today. 1, what really matters, team and exit. 2 is building the narrative. And 3 is how priorities shift. So an early stage venture, and by early stage, I mean pre-seed, a little bit of seed, there are really only 2 questions that an investor really cares about. One is this founding team uniquely qualified to solve this problem? And 2, will an exit generate meaningful economics for my fund? So to expand on this a little bit, it can really be boiled down to 2 things, the team and the market. The team needs to be super strong at the earliest stages since it's really an investment on team. VCs do not anticipate that your idea, when presented to them, will be 100% the same 5 years from now, even next year. They do want ideas that are quality and that make sense and that are differentiated. And also, what they also really want is ideas of a large market, so a large total addressable market. And it can be calculated in many different ways, but at the end of the day, team and market is what matters. Traction, product, exit economics do also matter, but they tend to matter more in the later stages of diligence. So the team. When I say, is this founding team uniquely qualified to solve this problem? There isn't a one-size-fits-all response. However, here are some things that matter. 1 being a consistent track record. Ivy League education, have they moved up quickly in the various organizations that they've been part of? Are there other things notable that this person has done, whether that's some scientific research publications, whether that's speaking at specific conferences, maybe it's winning case competitions or pitch offs. If you're younger, 2 background education experiences. I discussed that already, but it helps to have some of those like marquee brands on your resume, whether that's Harvard, Yale, Wharton, Stanford, or whether that's working at JP Morgan, McKinsey, maybe a well-known startup like Turquoise Health, or maybe it's like being early on like the Oscar Health team. There are a lot of things that work here, but it needs to be interesting. Another thing which I've harped on previously is like RIS, likability and presentability. When a VC's diligencing you, they're not just thinking about how you present yourself to investors. They're thinking about how you could present yourself to potential customers. And these customers, especially in healthcare, can be older, hospital, payer clients. They're also thinking, and you need to have the ability to be professional, and the VCs need to feel compelled that you're able to sell them. It could also mean putting you on anywhere, right? Like VCs often have some showcases where they show their founders to like their limited partners, like the rich people that have invested in their fund. And they want to be able to showcase their founders and how great they are and how presentable they are. And obviously, we had to invest in them. Dedication. A founder does need a relentless ambition to succeed at one problem. So founders are dedicated. They've already left their full-time jobs, ideally, and ones that don't get distracted. The ability to mobilize armies, talent is also very important. Do people get excited when they're around you? Were you able to bring together a superstar group of advisors and have a superstar team, or maybe someone willing to step in once you get money? But even with like just an idea and a deck, like, are you able to like still motivate people around you? A clear superpower is also important. Typically, like a founder tends to have something that is a superpower. So maybe they worked in finance and they really know how to do financial analysis and budget. Maybe they were chief product officer and they can think about how to build a product intelligently. Maybe they were an engineer and there's the ability to not hire a CTO early because a founder can take care of many of the technical concerns. Maybe they've worked high up in a payer and provider, and you can be pretty persuaded that they're able to unlock contracts for those different types of stakeholders. Something, ideally multiple of those things. And lastly, it's like inspirational vision, like telling a story, having people believe you, and having people go along with that journey. Here are some 3 founder narratives I think work really well. One is the founder of Tuva Health, Aaron. He has very niche career experiences. He was senior vice president of technology at Health Catalyst, and also worked in statistics for the Colorado state healthcare financing. And Tuva Health is like picks and shovels for claims analysis. So you want that like niche tech experience. Here's another one, Roja Kubera Health. She has many accolades, Brown Medical School, HBS, worked in Humana, has worked in innovation on the health system side as well. You can believe that this woman's dedicated, and also that she has strong relationships that can help unlock large contracts. Another one is the personal story trumps all. So Jessica Guaranteed Health. She has growth expertise from her background, but I think was more compelling was hearing her personal story around her dad passing away and there not being any sort of hospice care easily accessible or fitting the needs of her and other people around her. And she really, really told a compelling personal narrative. Another thing to think about, founders often will go out to raise 1 million. And there's a few reasons why. The strongest reasons is flexible. 2 is like when we were thinking of raising 1 million, the valuation is probably around 3 to 5 million. And this gives VCs that like 15 to 25% ownership that they like in order to be able to generate meaningful returns on the exits. Another really important thing is, again, the story, right? It's easier to excel, even if you secretly want to raise 2 or 3 million, it's easier to exceed expectations and better to exceed expectations than is to disappoint and raise too little. So thinking about three situations at a high level, like one, you have a ton of interest, that's fine. Just take more money, put VCs against each other, increase your valuation, like awesome. The base case, right? Raise $1 million, get a reasonable 5 million valuation. And the bear case, maybe you don't raise enough. It's time to like tinker the story, probably tinker the team, try to identify gaps that VCs have identified, and bring in advisors or team members to fill those gaps. And an important caveat here is like if you don't have the strongest team, and or you're going after family office, angels, non-institutional VC money, like maybe 500K might be like a better starting point, where you go out to raise 500K, you raise $1 million, awesome. 500K is a lot easier to build than $1 million round. So executing on a process, again, I'll point to Betty Chang's 10 lessons learned about fundraising ops as a deeper dive on this. But some recommendations is one, like share enough to stay interested. Do not throw a VC everything at once. I recommend like a 1-pager to start, maybe share the deck live. Maybe share like a investor version of the deck that isn't all the slides, but like the 10 slides that will pique an investor's interest without giving away too much of the secret sauce. And reserve the data room until the investors are clearly interested, because you don't want that getting around to people that aren't taking you seriously. 2 is iterate, listen to repeat concerns. I definitely recommend building a Q&A list of any questions investors ask you and have that evolve over time. And there will be a point in time when you're just able to share the QA list and you're able to address 80, if not more, 80% or not more of a standard investor set of questions. 3 is be aware of sharing valuation. Like I definitely share how much you're raising, but I don't recommend sharing a valuation. It then locks that VC into thinking that's like the right valuation and that like can only push you down. I think an easy thing to say is like we're waiting to hear what the market says, but we're looking to be reasonable and give VCs target ownership, something along those lines. And yeah, do share how much you're raising. And also, I strongly recommend having some sort of financial model that explains why you're raising the dollar amount that you are raising, and it's not just 1 million that you plucked out of the hat. Oh, there's a reason for this 1 million. And the last thing I'll cover is what is important matters over time. I think the team and market opportunity is always important. But at the beginning, like the wedge or some initial evidence of traction is important. Later on, like you want to see that like hockey curve of revenue acceleration, and then in the later stages, you want to see like margins, revenue sustainability, the lack of customer concentration, like a good revenue mix. On the product side, first of all, you want the product to be defensible, have it make sense. You then want to like feel like it fits in a certain niche, and you're seeing some evidence of product market fit, and then it's differentiated to other things that are out there. And lastly, seeing product market fit, which is that hockey stick curve of growth for our product. And then in terms of the valuation, right? Like at the early stages, like they want to be able to see like 100x return, right? So like 100x, if it's a $5 million valuation, they want to see that there's a possibility the company exits for 500 million, right? Ideally like $1 billion, but yet want to see that story. And over time, as the valuation gets higher, as things get de-risked, the expectations for valuation exit do tend to shift, since later stages there should be a higher probability of success versus lower stages, and you take a discount on the exit mentally when you are able to invest in something that is de-risked. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye.